Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Cardiff City World. Joined tonight by Mr. Evan James. Good evening, sir. How are we?
Evening. Good as you get. I mean, can't really be disappointed by last night. I mean, you could be disappointed, but at the same time, you can, feel a bit of pride in knowing that we give it all. And I can rest. I can rest easy now, knowing that at least we give them a good fight. And yeah, still top of the league. So
Yes, it was obviously the result was disappointing. I look so tired. The result was disappointing. Us getting in a quarter to 12 last night. But you can't fault the performance. I thought the performance was outstanding. I thought it would have been a bit more one way than perhaps, what it eventually was. But yeah, full credit to every single Cardiff City player who put that shirt on last night, and full credit to the 33,000 in the stadium. The atmosphere was electric. And I just wish it was like at every game.
Well, there'll be time for that. Don't worry. We got a couple seasons, and we might be back up there. I think you can't look at that game and take many negatives out of it. I think the only negative is that at times we were a bit negative when we should have just took a few more risks. And I think I said the same sort of things with the Aston Villa game last season. It's almost identical in the fact that we seemed to give it all, and we actually played some really good football. If anything, I thought we outclassed them in the first half. It's just the difference is that we couldn't put away chances. But if we're being honest, right, goalkeepers in the Premier League are no jokes whether it's the second or third choice keeper, because even like the third choice keeper for Premier League teams, because probably too good for the Championship if we're being honest, some of them. And I wouldn't say he was an outstanding keeper, but he was quite a big lad. And look, I think the youngsters for Chelsea probably found it more difficult going to away game in an atmosphere like that. And we made it really tough for them. And it took some of their first team players to actually get the ball moving. Until that point, it was mostly us. And it weren't just us keeping the ball. We had a few chances. So
yeah, and I talked to a couple of people today about obviously the goals that we give away. And, we've made mistakes in League One this year. And the amount of chances we've given teams in League One this year is probably more than what BBM would like. But I think last night the gulf between League One and the Premiership was evident because, the chances they had. Again, Trott pulled out a couple of worldly saves. It could have been a few more goals, if I'm honest. He pulled out some good saves. But yeah, they were clinical when they had the opportunities. They took them and they capitalised on the mistakes that we made. We've kind of got away with that in League One. But again, just can't fault the effort from the players. I thought they were outstanding.
Yeah, I think one big lesson we learned is that we shouldn't let our defensive line try and take on 3 or 4 players in a dribbling gauntlet. I think us proven that doesn't work. I mean, we tried it against Newport and it cost us, and it almost did cost us again. And apart from that, I'd say I think more of it is a mental thing as opposed to ability, because you look at League One, right, and there's no team in League One, right? If we put that performance we did against Chelsea as we did to League One teams, we would absolutely demolish them. We'd batter them left, right, and centre. I think the one difference is because you don't have, because you're going against some weaker teams, as much as you would try hard, you do kind of ease off the gas a little bit, probably because you want to make it to the next game and you want to keep the momentum. But it just seemed with the Chelsea game, it seemed like even against Doncaster, I mean, even though we won 4-3, I felt like some players were still easing off the gas just a tad. And it's easy to, I'm not saying the level of complacency, but you can understand, right? When you look at the teams around you, think, oh, you know what? They're not as good as we are. There is a part of you that sort of has that, but because we know this team is 2 leagues above us, we just went to another level in terms of, winning the ball back. Like the pressing we did, it was intentional to press the keeper because that's what they wanted. And, the fitness to win the ball back. I know Callum Robinson didn't get on the ball much, but the one thing he did well was constantly press and he was pushing the line back. I think it's such an underrated thing we did last night.
Yeah, I agree, But it would be typical Cardiff now to go to Lincoln on Saturday and lose 3-0. It'd be typical Cardiff, that would, wouldn't it? And I'd be gutted.
I wouldn't be, yeah, I would be gutted. And again, I happen to be working that one course. But I think you can kind of sort of say, okay, well, we've had 2 big games, right? And to get a 3-1 scoreline against Chelsea is not anything to be ashamed of at all. The fact we scored against Chelsea, I think it proves a point that we can get at teams. And and no team's invincible. But I think, that 4-3 win against Doncaster, they never should have scored the 3 goals. I know Doncaster aren't as bad of a side as people make them out to be, but at the same time, I think we will feel a bit of fatigue from those last 2 games now. People probably using most of their tank for that, and then link them. If I hope we do win, but if we do lose a game, it probably will be that one because the reason will probably be then we've just had a very demanding week. So I mean, I think maybe you might want to rotate a bit for that game. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'd be interested, and perhaps we can have a chat about that towards the end. But going back to last night then, and the starting lineup for last night, was there any shocks in the starting lineup for you, mate? Was there anybody you think perhaps should have started, or was it what you expected to be the lineup?
No, I think the only kind of like half surprise, I thought he would go Fish and Lawler, but to be fair, right, I think with Fish's recent dip in form, I think since the Stevenage game, he took a few knocks. He hasn't been quite the same yet. I don't know if he's fully fit or if he's had a bit of illness, but I know Kapaka before, I know he couldn't play in the game last night, but the reason he wasn't starting a few games, and people say, oh, he had a bit of illness, but at the same time, Perry you couldn't really drop him, so it doesn't surprise me the lineup so much. But what I was surprised with is how well that the likes of Perry and Bagan took to this level, because the wingers in the Premier League, they're so quick, and they had that George, I can't remember his first name, and he's not clinical at all. I think he's only 19 years old, but some of the pace in those players, and when you're a fullback in League One coming against some of those wingers, it's hard to deal with that all the time. And I think the likes of Isaac and Ashford did really well to give defensive cover. And to be fair to Isaac, he was the one person the ball went to all the times, and if anyone was going to score, it would have been him, I think.
Yeah, it was Tyreek George, I think his name was.
Yeah.
Got a lot of talented players. Chelsea again. They made a lot of changes. I think it was a complete different side to the side that lost, beat Everton on the weekend, I believe. But obviously they're going to have quality, and it showed last night that they were a really good team. But yeah, I thought Perry NG was decent. Obviously, we knew Kapaka was suspended. Unfortunately, he picked up a yellow card in the game prior to that. I was slightly surprised Chambers and Lawler started in defence. An uncharacteristic error, should we say, from Dylan Lawler for the first goal. You could see how disappointed he was once that goal went in. But was you impressed with the way he kind of reacted to that goal? He could have gone into a shell, really, couldn't he? And I thought he was composed. He knew he made the mistake. It was evident to see. But I thought he acquitted himself quite well after that blunder, really. I
mean, he's what? Remind us now, 18, 19, he's 19 years old now, I think, just turning. And why wouldn't you want to curl up in a ball and just sort of sit in the corner, right? It's because who wouldn't? I mean, look, clearly that wasn't a case of he misplaced the pass. It was just as he switched off for a second because I think the moment got to him, or no one would have expected him to make that quality pass on purpose. But at the same time, he wasn't the first instance. I mean, Chambers tried to dribble through 3 players and lost it. I think Dylan Lawler bailed him out of that one, really, or someone else might have. But there was moments in there where we maybe got a little bit too comfortable. And I was saying to my dad watching next to me at home, and I said, sometimes the problem is he's pointing out that Dylan Lawler is so composed no matter what. And I agree with that. But sometimes I find, especially with the 2 ball-playing defenders like Lawler and Chambers, sometimes you can be a bit overconfident and almost a bit too relaxed. And whilst you want to have composure at the back, you also don't want to be dawdling around with the ball. I think that was one of the 2 examples where we realised, okay, we're actually playing against a team who are 2 leagues above us, and they will punish us. Whereas in League One, we've been very lucky in lots of ways in that we've still made those mistakes, but there's not nearly as much fear to sort of stopping that goal, because the chances are the opposing striker would miss it anyway. And obviously, it did punish us. But at the same time, I was glad that it wasn't a 1-0 scoreline, because if the only goal was that one, I would have just felt so much worse for Lawler. But the fact when we came back as well, the fight from Turnbull, the least expected guy to score, but one header, I'm glad he's got a goal. I know we'll probably move on to that in a sec, but yeah, I think it's hard. I mean, 19 years old, the kid's playing against a Premier League team. You know what I mean? So it's going to be overwhelming.
Yeah, I thought he acquitted himself, really well considering that blunder he made. So fair play to him. Obviously, midfield-wise then, Joel Bagan and Perry Ng, I thought both, I think you just mentioned that they done really well. You mentioned Callum Chambers. I thought at times last night he took the ball up and he carried the ball 20, 30 yards. And he took that ball out of defence really well. But again, there was a couple of times where perhaps he held on to it for a little bit too long, lost the ball. And it just left us, they play one ball through and it's game on for them type of thing. But yeah, overall, I thought he was decent and he's starting to string a few performances together now. I know I think everybody's probably thought over the last 12, 18 months that he shouldn't be at centre-back, but I'm, getting a bit more confident in him being at the back at the moment. I think he's starting to string a few performances together now.
Yeah, I think he works best when he's got Wintle just sitting in front of him, because Wintle now plays a deeper role, whereas at the start of the season, he was more of you had more of two number 8s, really, two box-to-boxes, but now we've got a proper deep-lying playmaker, like Sir Wintle, who will literally, and he would do it, like, I think it was Sheffield Wednesday this last season against us, where they stuck Barry Ban in that role, and he wouldn't even attack whatever, but he would go across the width of the back line. He'd be left back, centre back, right back. I'd just be picking up the ball that way. And sometimes just knowing you've got that person who's running around you gives you a sense of calmness. That worst case is if it gets a bit thing, you've got that almost third centre back. And I think Wintle is proven why he should be one of the first names on the team sheet. And I'll be honest, right, I wasn't really a fan of him to begin with. I didn't really know what his role was under Bullet. At one point he was playing attacking midfield and leading the press, and I genuinely don't think it worked out. But I think now he's found a really good role, and my only worry is that if we don't have Wintle there when we're playing the likes of Chambers and Lawler, I don't know if you've got anyone to progress the ball really. I mean, I think Turnbull's best in number 8, if I'm being honest, and there's not really anyone else I look at who can comfortably do what Wintle does.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think you look at Alex Robertson. Do you really want him that far back type of thing? He didn't come on until the 80th minute last night, and I'm sat in a stand crying for him to come on a little bit earlier, maybe last night. I don't know if that would have made much of a difference in the final outcome, but it is what it is. Joel Colwell, I think, deserved his opportunity last night to play against Chelsea. I think his work rate and his energy in our midfield, really brings a different element to our game.
Yeah, he's going to run for you no matter what, isn't he? He's like, you put him in any position, you put him a goalkeeper, he's still going to run rackets at times. Like, you probably rush out of his box a lot. But I tell you what, right? At first, he didn't get on the ball that much, or I think it might be the other way around. But when he does get on the ball, for some reason, he's always got runners ahead of him. Whenever he gets on the ball, I think he's just one like Robinson. As soon as they get on the ball, increases the pace of the game. And I do feel like we do lack that a bit still. And look, we got Isaac Davis, and every time the ball went over to him, the game sped up a bit. But I felt with Ashford, it wasn't his fault, but it was more of like wing rotation when he got on the right-hand side. But as soon as Colwell picks up the ball all the time, he's looking for forward passes. He's not looking to play back unless he has to. And it's quite refreshing, really, because at times you had Turnbull who would always look backwards, but even him now, he sort of seems to be picking up off the other midfielders. And I would say it probably was his, not just because of the goal, but I think with Turnbull, that probably was his best performance. But I think, Robertson or Colwell could have done just as good a job as each other. I think Colwell, in number 8, is his role. That's his main role. And when you put him in his normal role, you're going to get the best out of him. That's how I see it.
No, definitely. Isaac Davis, was you disappointed to see him go off so early?
No, because I think any moment he's going to get injured now because he's playing so well. I was very happy.
Do you think that's why he got taken off? Is he still managing his minutes, do you think?
I think he is fully fit. I just think because of the explosive player he is, injuries like that can come literally, in a like that sort of thing. It can come just like so fast to them.
And he did get clattered a couple of times last night, and we'll come on to that now in a second.
And we don't know, see, like that one, even one clattering could have just been an impact injury. But you never know. That might not affect him until a couple of days later and realize, oh, actually, you know what? I took it. I mean, I get injured sometimes. I don't notice till the next day. But I think, no, I was happy with him. And it made sense that he went off. You know, was he a halftime sub or was he like 16 minutes, was it? Or
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was halftime. Was it halftime?
Yeah. I'll have to have a look now. But yeah, I'm not disappointed at all. Like I look at ratings on them, it's just shocking, really. Look at that, and how the Chelsea players get ratings as they did. I mean, for the first half, they were invisible. If I'm being honest,
10 minutes after half time, will have come on for.
There we are.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't just give them half and sub them off. I feel like sometimes when you make halftime subs, you only do that if someone is injured or if the team's not performing well. And I'm glad he didn't just make it then. But I think, yeah, his tank had gone then. He'd given everything got. And same with Robinson. I felt like someone who couldn't really get on the ball unless he dropped further deep. But then you haven't got that man in the box. And, I would have screamed for Salah to start. But at the same time, I think it was Robinson's name written all over it for his record.
Yeah. And, you look at the two centre-backs for Chelsea. They were two big lads, weren't they? And, you're not going to win ball in the air unless you're, a Yusuf Salih type. Robinson's not that type of player, is he?
No.
But yeah, I was slightly disappointed for Robinson, not in his lack of effort, just that he didn't really have, like you said, he didn't really have much opportunity with the ball at his feet. And just because of the lack of game time he has had, I was just hoping that, he'd maybe fire one in the bottom corner, but it wasn't to be. But yeah, like you said, his work rate and the appreciation when he did go off, everybody give him a standing ovation. So I think everybody recognizes, the work rate he is putting in. So I hope he took some confidence from that performance last night. And I think when he went off, I think it was only. Was it 1-0 or was it still? It might have still been 0-0 when he.
I think it was 1-0 when he. No, it might be still be 0-0. I remember he was on the bench when we scored. Because I'm pretty sure I saw his reaction to it. I will say it was nice. It was BBM. I saw the pitch side view of him celebrating with it, and BBM for a moment was a player on the bench when he was celebrating, and it was really nice. You see a bit of more like he associated more with the youngsters and just sort of enjoyed the celebration, thinking, "Oh, we scored," and lifting the bench up as well. It was just nice to see us score. Like, I'm going to be honest, like, regardless of who scored. But, it didn't matter so much who scored. I mean, Robinson did his job in the press. Unfortunately, he just kept quiet. I think Chelsea were fully aware of what he could do. So they, at that level, all the tactics of individual players, detailed stats of every player. So they're probably going to target to try and silence you. And if they can silence Robinson, they thought, well, that's the job done then, because that's their main threat. But obviously, they'd forgot the threat of the Turnbull, Raging Bull header. Yeah. So
going back to, like you said, then the reactions of the people on the bench, and it was the same Saturday. And it's so refreshing to see that now. We haven't seen that for the last couple of years. It means something to everybody. The staff, all the boys on the bench, the manager, is to see them celebrating and bouncing up and down on the touchline, to think, it does actually mean something to those that are not on the pitch as well.
Yeah. I mean, you see, Donchev, Mafiko, Nayakua on there as well. I was so dying for Donchev to get even 10 minutes on there to come on, because the guy's 15 years old and there's probably, legal limits in terms of how much game time he can have as well. But the fact that 15-year-old kid was in the bench, and look, with the full intention of probably none of them getting on, but just for those youngsters to be sat on that bench and just to enjoy the match, like from the front row seats, and to get behind them, and it's you can't be annoyed at BBM for putting them three real youngsters on the bench when he probably could have found some of the people to do it. But the fact that he did put those players on the bench is giving them confidence and showing that there's no pressure on it. I just really love how he does give those players confidence. I think previous managers, they would pick no one under the age of 23 probably. And, people who probably wouldn't care as much because their careers coming towards the end. But the way he's brought this squad up now where, whilst it is risky with loads of youngsters, he's focusing on the future. And that's the thing, see, we could be playing Chelsea in a couple of years' time and and our young players could be, revisiting Chelsea with some of their players. But yeah, obviously that's being very optimistic. But I'm just happy to see them all celebrating together. Really, it's nice.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me in a nutshell, just to round it up on the performance, then, shall we say, was the fact that, they all acquitted themselves well. The last thing we would have wanted last night was to come away from there having a 4-5, 6-0 hammering, injuries picked up. But I think, like we said, they acquitted themselves well. I'm pretty sure we've come through it injury-free. I haven't seen anything cascaded yet or shared anywhere, but fingers crossed that's the case, because they've got another difficult, as we said earlier, away trip on Saturday now to Lincoln. And I think that was massive for us last night, coming through that injury-free. No cards, red cards or suspensions or anything. So,
well, man, I know it's not in the same cup, so it wouldn't carry on. But
surely, though, if we'd had a red card, that would have wouldn't that have carried over into league end or no?
I wouldn't have thought so. No, because technically Kapaku was I don't know, because it wasn't a red card. I don't understand how it all works. So we won't worry too much on that. But hey, quarterfinals, you can't be annoyed at that regardless. But I thought one of their players, was it their Buon Nanote? Is he Spanish or something? I swear, how they got away with murder sometimes. The ref called, that's twice now. The next one, he said last one, he said next one you're getting a card. What happens? He fouls him again and he doesn't give him a card. So there's no integrity from the ref. I mean, at one point he did clap for them when he gave him a card, say well done. But out of all that, they fouled quite a lot of times, considering they got one card on their team. Ridiculous.
Yeah, there was a comment in the chat about the yellow cards that obviously we picked up. I think we had 2 yellow cards within the first, was it 15, 20 minutes? Isaac Davis and obviously Callum Chambers. There was a couple of opportunities where perhaps he should have given them yellow cards as well, but it's always difficult, isn't it? And
it was
you never seem to get a bite of the cherry, and you're never going to against a Premiership team, unfortunately. But
I thought going into the game, I'll just add quick. Sorry, I just thought going into that game, knowing we have a bit of League One under our belt, we would know a few little tricks up their sleeve to get them to be a bit more frustrated with us. I think we did do that. But yet, for whatever reasons, the cards just came our way. And I think, the yellow cards we had probably were deserved. I think it was Isaac Davis with a late challenge at the back. And I was thinking, careful now. Don't get yourself sent off early now, because that would be it. But at the same time, I'm thinking, they looked so frustrated in the first half because they couldn't get anything clear. I'm genuinely surprised at the amount of stuff they got away with. And whether you could say it's a penalty or not, do I think it's a penalty that it was? In my opinion, no, but in the nature of today's game, of how soft it is, I mean, if it was Liverpool versus Chelsea, Liverpool would have got a penalty. That's why I said, any other Premier League team, they would have got a penalty for that, because it was a clear push, albeit it was soft. But what I mean? In the hype of that game as well, I think the ref probably didn't give it for a reason. I don't know. But I was grasping at straws there.
Yeah. Right, before we dive into the comments, little video courtesy of what Bossman's put together, so we'll be back in just over a minute.
I'm sorry. Thinking about owning your own home? Not sure where to start? Well, at Home.Limited, they help people turn the idea of home ownership into a real achievable plan. If you're wondering how much you can borrow, what deposit you'll need, or whether being self-employed or having past credit issues might hold you back, well, then you're not alone. And that's exactly why they're there. At Home.Limited, they specialise in tailored mortgage solutions, affordable routes to home ownership that aren't always obvious at first glance. They provide independent, unbiased advice, access to a wide range of support and lenders, and a dedicated case manager who works for you from start to finish. They take the time to understand your circumstances. They explain your options clearly. They remove the jargon so you know exactly where you stand. And from the first conversation through the application process, right up to getting the keys in your hand, they'll be there every step of the way with you. They'll also keep an eye on the interest rates. So while your application is live, making sure you're always in the strongest possible position. So if you're ready to move on from renting, planning your next step, or simply want to know what's possible, get in touch today. Visit the website, speak to the team at Home.Limited, and let's turn your home ownership dream into a reality.
Well, and thanks, Si, for putting that all together. And I'm going to change the banner at the bottom a second, just to try and promote the members. If you're not a member and you would like to become a member, the information will be going across the bottom of the screen in a second.
Hey.
There she goes. Happy days. Right, let's jump into some of these comments then. Apologies it's taken us so long. I think everything's going on slow up here at the moment. Right, let's get to the top. Good evening, Mr. Boyle. Hope you're well, my friend. Gav, good evening, buddy. What a message it sends out to League One teams in and around us. 100%. Like you said earlier now, I think we just need to back that up now, don't we? We need to go to Lincoln on Saturday and back up that performance last night. And I think it'll send out more of a message to League One if we go to Lincoln Saturday and back that performance up last night. I think if we go this Saturday and come away with nothing, I think performance against Chelsea then kind of it's gone, isn't it?
The only thing I would say is the atmosphere is probably better in away games than it is for most of our home games, just because obviously the diehard fans are probably going there. And obviously the diehard fans are home as well, but you're not going to get an atmosphere like that at every home game, are you? And I think, hopefully that performance against Chelsea is encouraging for more people to come, but we'll have to wait and see for that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still League One, isn't it? But, whether there's a full stadium there or there's 20,000 of us, there shouldn't be a reason for them not to perform, should there?
No. And it'd be interesting to see what the players thought of obviously you've seen a couple of interviews from NG. BBM talked about obviously the electric fans last night, or the electric atmosphere, should I say. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the whole squad really thought of it, walking out to 33,000 fans, and it was amazing. The atmosphere was amazing. The traffic in and around the stadium after the game, mind, was something that I wouldn't be a great fan of week in, week out. But
get used to it.
Can't have it all, I suppose.
No.
Paul says atmosphere, kids giving Prem club a scare. Great night to be a Bluebird. BBM needs to be tied into a better contract.
Hey, he's got a 3-year deal from the get-go. I mean, not many managers, well, nowadays, not many managers get that. I mean, think of Watford. They're a prime example. Christ, you'd be lucky if you last the whole season at Watford. And there was a period at our club where we were high on fire. I mean, Chelsea were like that not long ago. So I think I was shocked that we gave him a 3-year deal at the start, but it clearly shows they're looking at a long-term project for once, as opposed to just what managers got promotion under their belts, I mean, it's a brave stab in the dark, but I think Tan's got it right on this appointment. And if it on your comment you just mean a better deal, then I don't know if he's going to get that anytime soon. I got to be honest, but I just hope we keep hold of him. I think he would want to stay BBM if he's building something like this with youth-focused players. He's definitely going to be looking at the long term, isn't he?
Yeah. It'll be interesting. Obviously, he was quite. He's obviously friendly. He's worked with the Chelsea manager previously. Do you think, obviously, the Chelsea manager last night, I think Rhys David Evans put something in the WhatsApp chat last night about obviously the Chelsea manager thinking, if we got a couple of youngsters, maybe we could send them to Cardiff. They've seen the style of football that we're trying to play. Could that maybe have turned a few heads last night potentially come January?
I wouldn't mind that Tyreek George then. I'd have him on loan. Christ, he sees a bit fast, and let's be honest, Gittins is way too good for us already. But hey, I tell you what, if we're still top of the league, it's not even long till Christmas now. But if we're top of the league, then you never know. I mean, getting Omari Kellerman was a big enough pull, I think. So
yeah, I think there's still talks there that potentially he could go back in January. But hopefully, again, after last night's performance, you might think, well, actually, if he can, continue playing week in, week out with Cardiff, hopefully that they let him stay until the end of the season and see where they go from there.
I think just really quick, I think knowing this player's career, he just probably wants a full season under his belt right now, wherever he goes. Because if I'm being honest, right, look at him with Joel Colwell. It didn't really quite work out with Exeter, and albeit he has still come back a better player anyway. But the last few does the ruffle a few feathers. I know I'm biased, obviously Cardiff, but at the same time, like it's his first season back from a fairly serious injury, and he's 20 years old now. He's going to want to get some consistent football. Wherever he goes afterwards is fair game. But January's never an easy time to negotiate anyway.
Yeah. Paul says, our lad showed no fear. Great seeing how far we have come since BBM's style. We managed to stand toe-to-toe with the world champs. Last season's squad would have been 4-0 down at half-time. And, obviously 0-0 half-time. I think anybody going into last night would have bitten anybody's hand off to have been 0-0 at half-time. And to see the people they're bringing off the bench then... to obviously change the game for Chelsea. I think somebody say it was like, I think their bench last night was worth 400 million.
Oh, yeah.
Which, you look at that compared to our squad, is we're miles and miles apart. Do you know what I mean? And
I said to my dad, I said, you look at the team they got now, right? One of their players has probably got a longer contract than our starting 11 combined because they give them 8-9-year contracts out there. I don't understand why. It's the most suicidal method ever, in my opinion. But it shows it's tying down to ridiculous length contracts and the amount of money they're probably blowing on that. And then there's us, right? Everyone's still fighting to keep their contract in their place and everything, and we don't get paid a fraction of what they do. But yeah, to put a performance in like that, and again, it's not like trying to slate any of the youngsters there because again, they're young, they learn as well. And I think they had a bit of a shock really when they came to Cardiff, thinking, it'd be a walk in the park. I don't know, but to think that we're getting a fraction of what they're getting, most likely. And again, you look at the training facilities, you think of the analysis and everything like that. I'm not saying we're like really poor, but we're 2 leagues below, and to put that in, that's not like an accident. And again, like the comment said there, a year ago, it would have been 4-0 by half time. But
I think it goes to show as well the difference between the two. You look at the amount of staff. I don't know how much of the pitch they showed before the game last night. But the sheer amount of staff and coaches Chelsea had on the pitch during the warm-up, I think they had more coaches on the field than we probably had players. It was absolutely mind-boggling. But where they all sat on the bench, I don't know. But I suppose when you're at the top, you can afford to. I expect they got coaches for every bloody thing, but.
They probably they probably just brought the HR department along with them. Must have been.
Graham mentioned that's the comment I've seen, and we've obviously had a quick chat about the yellow cards. Anyone else annoyed at our 2 yellow card, considering he owned one of their players, and no yellow for tackle on Bagan or Ashford?
Number 40 is exactly that. Yeah, exactly like Graham. I got away with murder almost at one point. I'm thinking, Christ.
Yeah. Lawler had his head in his hands at the end of the game. Shit happens, move on. It's a lesson learned. And I haven't heard any negativity around. I know obviously we've discussed it tonight, but like we said, he acquitted himself brilliantly afterwards. There's a mistake. He's a youngster. He's going to make him. You kind of not expect it, but you can slightly forgive, shall we say. And yeah, you learn from it 100%. And
if we're being honest, right, and I do give some players some grief, right, because I feel like as they're older, they should know better. If Chambers made that mistake, I think he'd be grilled all over on social media. And I hate to say it because obviously I think he had some really good moments there. Yes, he did that. He did the Newport sort of dribbling montage for a bit, and I thought, oh god, here we go again. But no, I think with Chambers as well, I say he's got a better first touch than a lot of our forwards, and a better ball control a lot of our forwards. But I think it's with him and Lawler sometimes they just take a few too many touches, and that obviously costs us a bit. But like I say, 1-0. If we lost 1-0, the story would be like, oh, young teenager loses it for Cardiff. But because the story was 3-1 now, you got that Turnbull head and everything. It's his teammates fought back for him, and again, like you said, he did go a lot more attacking afterwards, have a few runs forward, Lawler did. And it almost led to one of our goals. So, you can't be too thing about there.
Yeah, Turnbull has had some stick as well, haven't he? And I was glad to see him, like you said, he finished it fantastically well. Great header. And yeah, fair play to him. I thought he done really well last night. Still, there's room for improvements, but you can't knock what he done last night, and hopefully a bit more of a run in the team now and things, and his confidence after that goal last night is just going to get better and better.
Yeah, last few games he has been getting better, thankfully. So it's not just a one blip sort of thing.
Yeah. Paul says, Bagan, he said it before, most improved player, but saying that, all of the players seem to run through brick walls, and even the older lads are improving. Great to see how good a squad we got. Yeah, I thought Joel Bagan again was outstanding last night, and I think I say it every time I do a podcast at the moment. He's our unsung hero. Yeah, fantastic he is. The Bagan block was first class.
Oh, yeah.
His body.
That was a goal otherwise, 100%.
I had to bring this one up.
I saw earlier, yeah.
November anymore, bro.
Hey, Rob, like some people, I don't follow the trends. I actually have my own personality. This is year round, this is now, maybe.
Let's hope a few thousand come back for the next home games. Yeah, fingers crossed. I can't. Obviously, he was always going to pull in extra fans with it being with Chelsea, and
I took up the
made
family
me chuckle last night when the Chelsea fans were singing "You're only here for the Chelsea," which probably, you're talking 10, 15,000 of them. Probably, you're right. They probably wouldn't have been there if it was you look at Doncaster on the weekend, 50% off tickets, and we only had 18,000 fans.
Nice.
So, I was disappointed with Saturday's attendance, if I'm honest. But,
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's that time of year where it's difficult for a lot of people. It's not just the price of a ticket you've got to look at on match days. It's everything else that comes with it, especially if you're taking little ones to the ground. So anybody who does fork out and does make their way down, respect to you. But if anybody
looking at 10 for parking as well, and that's just the parking. So
unless you're tight like me and go down an hour earlier and park up by Canton Rugby Club, you haven't got to pay for it then.
Fair enough.
Gavin says Joel Colwell, Dylan Lawler, Cian Ashford, Isaac Davis, 4 homegrown kids playing against Chelsea. Real proud night for them, the club and the families, 100%. Mr. Boyle says NG had Gittins on toast. I'd rather Wilcox. Halftime Oranges, good evening. We may have lost, but we made Chelsea empty their bench in panic. That is testament to how well our boys played. Couldn't be prouder. 100%. And Rob Boyle, spell check error.
I was going to say, I'm not sure if that was an intentional inside joke that I was missing out on, so I just can't let that slide. But,
this is a bit of a mental stat from Gavin. 6 months to the day since BBM has been our manager. What a complete turnaround our club has made. Can't not disagree with that at all, can you? That's what a change we've seen in the last 6 months.
Credit. I'm not sure how much this has played a part, but massive credit to Sai, because it was probably a year and a half ago since he made his first video about BBM, or even longer than that, and saying we should get him in the club any way possible. Now, I don't know about the conspiracy gods out there, and I don't know, so I'll say allegedly everything, but I would love to think that someone from Cardiff City looked at that video and be like, you know what, we should probably do some more research on him. And you can't say that's all coincidence. Surely, I love to think that Sai's played a part in that, because when the way Sai was talking about him a year and a half ago, I was thinking, we have to get him some capacity, not even manager, it could be, I don't know, an analysis team or something, anything, but he's got Lee Riley with him as well. And I think both of them work really well as a pair. And it's nice to see the manager and the assistant manager getting along so well, or seemingly anyway, where it's not always been the case in the past, is it? But
no, you're right. Graham says, how many times have you seen lower teams spend the whole game in their own half just defending?
Yeah.
I think Perry NG said in his kind of interview after the game last night, they wouldn't change the way they're trying to play the game regardless who come to the Cardiff City Stadium. I think he did he did mention if they were playing against Real Madrid or Barcelona, they'd do exactly the same, which I think we're a few years away from that type of fixture. But you never know what the future brings. But I just think fair play to them. They got that attitude. They got that confidence. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But they're giving it a go. And I just think, as fans sat in that stadium last night, it was bloody freezing. And I was just proud that they put in the effort they did. And it was, it was fantastic. And memories made again. My boy was there with his shirt off after Turnbull put the ball in the back of the net. I thought he was going to burst out crying at one point. But
I thought you would have warmed up after that goal. Be absolutely limbs. I saw people there. Some of them were like, Christ, don't fall over now. You start an avalanche.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. Rob Boyle agrees with what Graham just said there. Jumpers for goalpost evening. Late to the show. That's a fine. Still buzzing from last night. So proud of our boys. We were brilliant individually and as a team. No shame, but people now know what's going on at CCS. Onward we go. Who's this one in? Angel is a legend. Lots of love. Your favourite prop. Happy days. Omelette, that is, I expect. I don't mind.
It's hard nowadays with all these tags, isn't it?
Come on, Chelsea, Cardiff out there. Cheers for tuning in. It made me laugh last night when you got all the Chelsea fans giving it those big hands to the kids in the family stand. Like, I think, fair play.
I'm not sure if you saw me on Instagram, but I got into, not an argument, I got into a nice discussion with some Chelsea fans, like, so celebrating as if they beat Real Madrid. I said, calm down. Like, I mean, the fact that it was not like, again, I don't want to diss my own club, right, the support, but it was 0-0 at half time. We played really well, but I didn't see much threat at all from them. And I thought, if this is, no disrespect, if that's Chelsea's best of the youngsters, it's too right to bring on someone. They made 2 subs at half time, is it? And, that's because of a reason, because, they really thought they would be cruising through this. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of their fans probably even felt a bit nervous when they went in 0-0 at half time or just before, because they had a few chances, but so did we. And the fact they sort of go away from the game thinking, Cardiff out. I mean, well, we made the quarterfinals, the only team in League One, all the Championship to get here. And it wasn't exactly smooth sailing for them until, what's his name, Garnacho got his goal.
Jumpers for Goalpost says, BBM, fully supportive of Dylan. Quote, he's playing as we're asking him to. Love that. Great response from Dylan after the error too. Good on you, Dylan Lola. Rahul commenting again. Thank you for commenting. Swansea, something Cardiff. I think that's Swansea swapping places with Cardiff.
Possibly, yeah. We'll see you on the promotion bus as we pass you going into League One.
Bro, we played the B team and you think you panicked us. I think we did, but to be fair, even a B team
should have beat us.
Like you said, your bench alone was worth 400 million. I think that's worth more than our team and our stadium put together. But
if we were like a Southampton or somewhat like a decent side in the, I almost said Wrexham then, but if I said a decent side in like the Championship or something, you could somewhat understand then maybe you would have been a bit more equal. But you're talking Chelsea, who are looking to be winning the league every season. And again, look, they're not short of any youngsters. They don't have, there's way too much competition to sort of just be allowed into the Chelsea academy, if we're being honest. Like it's a London-based club as well.
Just to go back on that comment was, I think we said right at the start, they made 11 changes to the side that played against Everton on the weekend. So we knew it wasn't a stronger side out, but we still know that they're going to come with quality. The second string, then, should we say, are going to be more than equipped to be able to step in if there's anybody injured in the starting 11. So for us, where we're at the moment, top of League One.
If he's really concerned about the B team, we don't mind having a few of yours on a free, by the way. We'd happily take some of yours in, and then we'll see if we can play it in. So,
jumpers for goalposts also regarding Engie's comments referencing Real Madrid. Some of us have seen us beat them.
Yeah, God, before my time, I think.
100% snap, same as me. Yes, this will be a good one on Friday night. Little Town versus Wrexham. Friday night, be interesting to see how that goes.
Little Town versus Little Town, isn't it?
What's that? Yeah.
Little Town with Little House X for a new song, is it?
But it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Not too worried there. Was there Chelsea fans there? Didn't hear them. Unlike Bradford fans, they sang non-stop. I was quite disappointed. Don't get me wrong. 3,500 people travelling on a Tuesday night. Fair play to them. They were
Did
quiet.
Did they take up the family stand as well? Was that?
No, they just had the 3,500. There was hardly a gap between, the family stand this time in, and they had the whole lot of it then, the away end. But we've had, I think Doncaster were probably louder than them at times on Saturday. And like I said, no disrespect to the Chelsea fans who travelled down in numbers, but I don't think they were the loudest fans, nowhere near the loudest fans we've had there. And, I was in the family stand with my boy, you're quite close. But yeah, we've had louder fans there, but fully respect them for travelling down in the numbers they did.
Don't beat Millwall fans, I'll tell you
that. Reading some comment from Chelsea fans, they said it was great to see Cardiff play homegrown players. Chelsea last night didn't field one English player or one England player.
Did it not?
Interesting. I would have thought that's...
I thought was English.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's English. I think a lot of their players are English. Achiampong.
Yeah, that's Tosin Aderbalayo. He's English.
So they had a few, yeah. So they had 3. Oh, hang on. No. Caicedo is Ecuadorian. So they had 4 because Gittins as well. So they had quite a lot. Yeah, the majority was English, but I see your point. A lot of them were things, but you probably think that those lads, that team they started with, they probably played together a fair bit in other cup competitions. When you thought, or is that just me? Maybe they were just kind of chucked together. I don't know, because it was a lot of changes the last game. But at the same time, it's like you think those players, right? They probably play alongside each other quite a bit since they're all in probably roughly a similar age. I don't know how it works.
No idea. Gavin Kellan said there's no cup games left now, only the league, and we've got 26 games to go. Win 15 and a few draws will see us over the line. So, it'll be interesting to see now. Obviously, we got a busy festive period. If we can get away and, come the first week of January, I'd be very happy if we still got that 4-point cushion at the top of the league. If not, slightly increased, but I think that might be wishing a bit much, potentially. Looking at the teams that we've got to play in and around us, I think we've got Lincoln and we Stevenage. We got Exeter at home on Boxing Day. There's Leyton Orient then. I think they're not... they're up and around here as well, and they're towards the bottom.
No, they're 13th. They bang average in the middle. They are. I think the thing is with them, you can't predict them because they'll beat the likes of like Huddersfield, for example, and then they'll go and lose or draw to Reading. Then they're very random. But if I'm being honest, there's every team in the Championship, League One, League Two. But I think the one thing is now there's no excuse now, really, is there? The fact we got no other competitions. Yes, okay, we're going to lose some games anyway, but they can't use the excuse of, we've had a really busy week now, because every team's going to be the same. And if anything, we've still got a game in hand to play. There's some teams, they've got 2, I think, Stevenage and Barnsley. What was it? A few of them? Yeah, well, a few of them got like 3 games in hand to play. So, there's no excuse to at least not give a all effort. And we're really close to January as well now. So we won't be waiting too long till we start seeing some more sign-ins. But I think the 3 youngsters who are on the bench tonight, or if I'm right, are all planned to go on loan. No, not John Chev, sorry. Mafiko, Naikua, and I can't remember the other one.
Louis Giles.
Giles, yes. Yeah, all 3 of them I think were tipped to go on loan somewhere. I wonder where they'll go, whether it'll be Belgium or League 2, National League, or I don't know.
Yeah. No, again, like you said, it'll be interesting, but I think it'll benefit them playing week in, week out football. So, see what happens. Moving on to Saturday, then Lincoln away. Do you think there'll be many changes to the starting lineup? I'd say there'll be 3-4. I would imagine. I
don't think Isaac Davis starts. I think he might be on the bench. I think he's a great super sub anyway to bring him on. You go back to Salick, I think. So Robinson's probably not going to start. You see the likes of Kellyman probably coming back again as well. So you're looking at a minimum of 3 changes. You don't change the keeper. I don't think you really change the back line either. Maybe Kapaki for NG. If I'm being honest, it's hard to really drop the likes of NG at the moment because it's nice to say he's got a good competition with Kapaki now, and Bagan, you just don't drop him.
Kapaki was a bit out the sorts as well against Doncaster. I think he had a bit of a sickness bug as well, didn't he? So I think there's loads of that flying around at the moment. So if we can keep that out of the camp, I think is important. I don't know if he's been in and around the camp, if he has had an illness, but that's the last thing now we need to pick up over Christmas. Now is having people out of the team because of illness. So fingers crossed that stays away. But yeah, I would imagine Kellyman will probably come back in Saturday. You mentioned it about Isaac Davis probably going on the bench. Do you think he'll start Willock then? What did you say?
Yeah, I think Willock will start over him. As long as I want Robertson to get a full 90 or at least get 75 minutes, because I think he's been getting slowly better, like behind the scenes, and I think we kind of not pay much attention to him. I think I would like to see Robertson either next to Wintle or Robertson and Turnbull, and then obviously Robertson could play the deep number 6 then. I do think, earlier you said, obviously I think Robertson can't, he likes to get forward a bit more. I do think he has a lot to offer going forward, but I think the way that Wintle was playing, he's the only other person I can see filling his role. And I'm not sure, I would like Wintle to play as well, but you look at some players thinking, oh, do they need a rest? Like, I think Lawler wasn't playing Doncaster. Was it Doncaster? Because he was actually playing, I can't remember now with him. But yeah, I think you look at minimum 3 changes. I would probably put Willock to start because you can always bring on Isaac for pace afterwards then, as opposed to taking off pace.
Me personally, I see Isaac making more of an impact coming off the bench than perhaps what Willock does.
Yeah, he's not a traditional winger though, is he? He's a wide playmaker, isn't he? He'll cut inside and he'll do magic inside, but out wide, he's going to either cut in and cross it, or he's going to drift in the middle, and that's where I see him better, really.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's another long journey for the fans. I think I'm not sure if the away end is a sellout. There was still tickets floating around, but I think I looked at it and it was a 3 hour, 40-minute drive in the car. I was tempted, but it didn't happen. But fair play. Geraint Cole does say Orient give us a hell of a game a couple of weeks back. That was 4-3 as well, wasn't it? I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think that, any game, no matter who you play in and around this festive period, is going to be a difficult one. So fingers crossed we can, pick up as many points as possible.
I genuinely think Lincoln will be the hardest game we'll play this season. I think Bolton was difficult. It's hard to break down. I just think playing away to Lincoln now, we haven't played them God knows how long. And to be fair, I think if there's any team that's going to beat us, not comfortably, I think it'll be them, because I look at the other teams, I don't really see much threat. I mean, we beat Stevenage 1-0 away. That was a really well-earned point, and we really need that 6 points. If we can get 6 points against Lincoln, that would be the best situation, even if we were to draw the rest up until January. Because the main thing is you're winning against teams amongst you. Because we look now, the gap is a lot wider than what it was, 5 games ago or so. So just beat Lincoln, innit?
Yeah, it's just picking up them points of the teams that are around you. I think, obviously, for me, Bradford City, when they come there and I think they beat us 3-1 in the end. They totally outplayed us that day, to be honest. I think they're probably the best team I've seen us play this season, to be fair. Or they were the most clinical. They took their opportunities when we give them to them. So I think, obviously, they're 4 points behind us at the moment. I think we might have a game in hand on them. No, they're at the same...
I think so.
Yeah, they're 4 points behind us. Yeah. They played 19. Yeah. Lincoln are 6 points behind us, but they've played a game more. Bolton Wanderers then in 4th. Same games as us. They're on 34 points. Stevenage are 1 game behind us. They've played 18, and they're on 34 points. So if we can pick up another 3 points against them on the 29th, I believe it is.
It's quite close to that. I think the main thing is, right, you don't embarrass yourself at home, and then you pick up whatever points you can away, I think, because you want to win, obviously, against Lincoln or whatever, but the thing is, with Lincoln and Bradford, I genuinely believe the reason why they are the way they are is because of their managers, because their manager knows how to get the best out of their players. You don't look at many players in Bradford's or Lincoln's squad, think, you know what, he'd be absolute quality. I think that, was it O'Connell or something that cited a video on a while before pre-season? I think, did he go today or did he go somewhere else? He might go somewhere else. But I think, there's not many players in those squads you'd be like, oh, they're world class or whatever for their brackets. But at the same time, they've got managers who knows how to do certain players. Same with Leyton Orient with that Ballard and everything. But at the same time, we've got I think we've got a great manager now. So it's so hard to call that one, Lincoln, isn't it? I'd probably say a 2-2 draw if I had to say. I genuinely couldn't say who would win if I had to pick one.
I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Cardiff, I think.
Yeah.
I think Lincoln, obviously, we've scored 36 goals this year. We've conceded 20. Lincoln have scored 28 and conceded 21. So I think there'll be goals in the game. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win Cardiff. Yusuf Saleh and a Kian Ashford goal. I think we'll end up going 1-0 down and we'll come from behind, as we've done a few times this season.
Still waiting for Nathan Trot header.
I think you'd be like Rob waiting for.
That's the promotion one. That will be because it's the only time you come up.
I think if you're open for that, but you'd be like Rob waiting for Siopis to score. So.
I wish that happened. That would have made my day, honestly.
Yeah.
But it wasn't meant for him scoring, was it? Let's be honest.
No, unfortunately not. As much as I loved him as a player as well.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. Right, the plan for the rest of the week. I think Rob and Aaron are on tomorrow. Sai is back with a preview for the Lincoln game on Friday evening. Myself and Reese are back for the 1927 Club on Saturday evening, and Sai will be there for the breakdown then on Sunday evening. Thank you to everybody who've tuned in tonight. You can see the banner going across the bottom. If you would like to become a member of Cardiff City World, you can do it by following the information on the Cardiff City World YouTube and follow the information there. Or you can also go on Patreon, Ace Podcast Nation. For the price of a cup of coffee a month, you can help support the channel. Ev, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Thanks to everybody in the chat for getting involved. Much appreciated. And roll on to Lincoln City away on the weekend. Safe travels for everybody going up. Bring the 3 points home. Up the city.
Ta-da.
This channel is powered by an incredible membership community on Cardiff City World and patreon.com/Ace Podcast Nation. Becoming a member unlocks exclusive rewards from early access to live event tickets, bonus content, and even the occasional inside transfer scoop when we get it. But more importantly, it allows us to bring you top quality Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Across those 7 days, we're talking match previews, exclusive interviews, instant match reactions, the breakdown podcast, tactical deep dives, the spotlight series, Bluebirds Rewind, Academy Focus, and just so much more. Led by myself, backed by an army of passionate Cardiff City fans, this is content created by fans for fans. Balanced, professional, and 100% all about the club we all love. If you enjoy what we do, then join the community today and support what we are doing as we help to keep Cardiff City World flying high.